I cut ties with my parents after they continuously chose their new partners over me, my sister, and her baby. Now, I've just found out that my dad has been diagnosed with heart failure, and I'm stuck between anger and guilt. I honestly don't know what to do. A part of me wants to reach out before it's too late, but another part of me remembers how deeply hurt I've been by them over the years. I'm sharing this because I need a place to let it out, and maybe get some perspective. Growing up, my parents were involved in the swinging lifestyle. I found out after I graduated high school in 2016, and at the time, I didn't really have strong feelings about it. I've always believed people have the right to make their own choices behind closed doors. But over the years, their relationships with other people have become more and more public and uncomfortable. About 2 years ago, my parents got involved with a couple, we'll call them D and T. At first, I tried to accept it, but D and T eventually moved into my parents' house after losing their own, and things went downhill fast. My parents kicked my sister, her fiancé, and their newborn baby out of the basement so D and T could have it. They shoved my sister's family into a tiny upstairs bedroom, barely big enough for one adult, let alone two and a baby. To make matters worse, D and T started calling themselves Grandma and Papa to my niece. This was deeply uncomfortable for my sister and her fiancé, but my parents didn't care. They were too focused on creating their new blended family to listen to how it affected the rest of us. It wasn't just that they included D and T in everything. It was how they acted. Their behavior was often wildly inappropriate. There were times when they would make sexual jokes in front of us, or be overly physical with each other during family gatherings. My dad once mooned the front door as I walked in, thinking it was his girlfriend arriving. They had a calendar in their kitchen showing which nights they'd swap sleeping partners. It felt like our family was constantly being pushed aside so my parents could prioritize their sexual lives and their new partners. We had planned a family vacation, our first ever, but they insisted on bringing D and T along. I tried to explain how uncomfortable this made me, but my parents refused to change anything. They said D and T were part of the family and would be coming no matter what. That was the last straw for me. I told them I wouldn't be joining the trip and that I needed space from them. Since then, we haven't spoken. That was in April 2024. Since cutting them off, I've felt a sense of peace I hadn't known in years. I no longer dread holidays or visits. I've focused on my little family, and for once, I haven't had to constantly fight to be heard or respected. Then a few days ago, my mom sent me a message saying my dad has heart failure, and now I don't know what to do. I'm upset. I'm grieving a relationship that has been broken for so long. I don't want to carry the regret of never seeing my dad again, but I also don't want to open the door to more pain, especially when they've ignored my boundaries so many times before. They've never apologized. In fact, the last time my mom reached out months ago, she asked, "How long are you going to stay away? Are we still toxic?" As if I was the problem for distancing myself. I've tried so hard to make them understand how their actions made me feel. I just wanted to be around my parents without being forced into a situation where I was constantly uncomfortable. Now I'm stuck. Do I reach out, risking another round of heartbreak? Or do I stay silent and protect the peace I've finally found? Any advice is welcome. I just don't want to make a choice I'll regret for the rest of my life.